Is Brian Molefe the right person to turn Eskom's fortunes around? Will consumers survive load shedding this winter? How has load shedding impacted on the country's economy? And how much progress is being made at the Medupi and Khusile power stations? What time is it? It's question time. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho. Electricity supply by Eskom has become one of the issues government is working towards addressing. Mounting electricity supply challenges continue to affect the country's households and businesses, with level 3 load shedding having been reached in recent months. Over-reliance on coal-generated power is proving to be costly, with most energy experts insisting that the time to explore other sources of energy has come. While calls to fast-track the construction of the Medupi and Khusile power plants to alleviate the strain on the grid increase, the strike at the Medupi power station is negatively impacting its operations. But is enough being done to explore alternative energy sources? A reminder that this is a live program, and therefore you can call us and air your views on the following numbers: 011 714 6841, 011 714 6842, or 6843. Those are the numbers that you can dial and just share your views with us. My guest today, Khulu Phasiwe, is Eskom's spokesperson, whereas Mepegi Trotsky is the CEO of the South African Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Khulu, I was expecting your CEO. What happened?
Well, our CEO had to attend to a meeting, and as a result, he asked me to represent him. Apologies on his behalf.
Okay. Actually, maybe the first question that I asked would even have to ask you: is he the right man, to turn the Eskom's fortunes around?
Well, the government, through the Public Enterprises Department, has the confidence in him, which is why they appointed him to come in for now. And Mr. Molefe, people will know that he was with the PIC before. He's now with Transnet, or just recently with Transnet. He has turned Transnet around. There was a time when Transnet was battling to deal with the tonnages that needed to be transported by rail. He has managed to stabilize the situation. I'm sure he'll do the same thing at Eskom. Okay,
now, are we safe? Are you going to be able to provide electricity this winter?
Mpho, generally we as a company, we do a lot of maintenance in summer so that we don't have to sort of take offline a lot of generators in winter. Over the last few years, we have never had load shedding in winter, by the way. So this year is not going to be an exception. We are doing everything possible. In the last few weeks, we were doing what we call the maintenance festival, where we had brought back to service about 5,000 megawatts, which we currently are using now, and we still have a long way to go. But we are making serious strides in making sure that we have security of supply this winter.
Are you happy with Eskom, Peggy?
Well, if I have to talk on behalf of my members, the answer is definitely going to be no. But they are recognizing that there is a lot of work that is being done. And I think one of the interesting things is that somebody drove down to Mpumalanga the other day, and they said they were so surprised when they saw all the units at Creel operating, which hasn't been visible for a long time. So that is definite indication that there is a lot that is being done.
A lot that is being done, but at what cost?
Well, we need to look at it in terms of whether we want the power or not, and if that is the case, it has to be paid for. If we don't want power, then we must not worry about what the cost is. The cost is something that has got to be found somewhere.
Okay, and if I may ask the same question but refer to another cost now, as far as business is concerned, is this not costing you a lot?
It is costing business an awful lot of money, but on the other hand, we need to have a look at the real environment within which businesses are operating. Globally, there is not much activity taking place, and so if it could have happened when we were on a growth path where our manufacturing industry and our exports were increasing, it could have been an awful lot worse.
Now, Khulu, the Medupi and Khusile power stations have been on the pipeline. The postponements are there for all to see or to know about. When are they going to start operating?
Medupi and Khusile, it is indeed true that they have been delayed for a very long time, and especially Medupi, people know that there have been a lot of strike actions. In fact, even now as I speak to you, we have industrial action taking place at Medupi, which started on the 25th of March, is still continuing now. We are hoping that at some point NUMSA and the contractors, obviously with Eskom's involvement, we will sit down so that we can iron out the issues that are causing the problems. But Khusile, there was a time when we as a company did not have money for the continuation of the construction. We had to take it easy to stop a bit. So the delays there are sort of understandable. But obviously in the context of us not having electricity, that's why people are basically pounding on us to say we need to finish this thing. Medupi is an urgent one. We have been working on this power station for 7 whole years. We are not even near completion. That's why we are urgently asking all the protagonists to come to the table so that we can finish or make sure that we return to normality as soon as possible. I must add though, that Medupi currently, as I speak to you, earlier this morning, it was producing about 640 megawatts, which is gradually getting to where we want it to be, which is about 800 megawatts. So by June this year, the first unit of Medupi will be fully commercialized and will be producing about 800 megawatts, which is making some strides. But obviously, we do have some other units that we still need to build. And unfortunately, we have this situation where people are not coming to work. And we are basically essentially calling on all partners from business side, from Beggy's side, also from the government, so that all of us as partners should sit down and check as to what else can be done to make sure that all of us, including the unions, can participate to make sure that South Africa has security of supply.
But you said you were removing them from your properties.
100%. We are doing that, and it has to be taken in the context that, remember, those facilities, the residential areas where they are living at Medupi, they are our properties, and some of the union people have been using the very same properties, the residential areas, as some kind of a base for them to organize and threaten others who wanted to go to work. You cannot allow a situation where people are using your very own facilities to stop others from going to work. We had to do something, and this is what we're doing now. So we are basically doing, for lack of a better word, some kind of an auditing to see as to who is involved in the strike action, who is not. Those who are involved in the strike action, we will not allow them in. And just recently, some people have been sort of criticizing us for providing meals and subsidized accommodation and those kind of things for the people at Medupi. Currently, those very people that are refusing to go to work, they are getting sort of subsidized accommodation, subsidized meals, but they don't come to work. How do you solve that situation?
Why are you not giving them the 10% that you promised them?
You know, it's very funny that everyone, especially from the NUMSA side at least, they are talking about this 10%, the 10,000 rand that has been promised.
Oh yes, 10. Yes.
So essentially, remember, it has to be understood that the people who are working at Medupi are not Eskom employees from to start with. They are working for the construction companies that are working there. But the contractors have been given a mandate by Eskom to go back just after the Easter break to come up with some kind of a tangible proof to show whether or not they have paid the 10,000 or they have paid any bonuses to their senior management. They have come back to us. There's absolutely no proof at all. Hopefully, NUMSA will understand that, and we can solve the strike and then go back to the construction of the business.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, I would love to hear from members of NUMSA or the striking workers and those that are not on strike right there in Limpopo. Please give us a call. Let us get to hear what exactly is happening on the ground there. The number to dial is 714 or rather 011 714 6841. 42 or 43, or any other matter that you would want to raise with Eskom. This is question time.
Welcome to Network, a technology news program that also discusses what's trending in social media in and around Africa. MTN has launched its new movie and television streaming service, Front Row. If it's trending, we will find it. That's Network with me, Spumelele Zondi, every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. only on the SABC News Channel.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. Our guest today is Khulu Pasiwe. He is the spokesperson of Eskom, and Peggy Drosky is the CEO at Saki. We've got Sam. You're calling us from Vosloorus. Welcome to Question Time.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Mark, just my want to review to Mr. Khusile about the powers, electricity. Yes, we understand there's a cut of electricity. And also I want to ask the community of South Africa to think also for Eskom, because of, if you can see the houses that have been built since our government took over, it's very lot of houses, and it needs a lot of more power station, and they've been trying to build Medupi and sort of other power station. And if you can be patient, if they go cut, we are happy. I'm happy because of the cut only 2 hours. The electric is off, and then after 2 hours it's back. You see, so it's not so bad. Well, it's bad, but it's not so bad.
Okay. Thank you very much. Well, some people are happy with load shedding.
Well, we appreciate that people do understand the challenges that we are facing, and also that we are doing something to prevent load shedding in the long term. Currently, I must tell you, Mpo, we are on stage 1 of load shedding from 5 o'clock this afternoon until 10 o'clock in the evening. What needs to be contextualized is that even though we are on stage 1 of load shedding, about 98% of the country still has electricity. Yes. So it's not like it's Armageddon, things are falling apart. Obviously, we do have the inconvenience, we're inconveniencing at least that 2% of the nation that do not have power at this stage. But we are basically making sure that we don't have a total blackout, which some people have been calling for.
Okay. Lazarus, you're calling us from Mondio.
Yes, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for calling.
Thank you for taking my call. Yes, I would like to make just one point. I think Brian, when he took office, he said one thing which was very, very critical, to say Eskom doesn't have enough cash.
Okay.
It's because people are on prepaid, and especially companies, they delay to pay, and that hits Eskom very hard in terms of the cash flow. So he said if everyone could convert to prepaid, if let's say like you need electricity,
yes,
you need to buy electricity so that Eskom can be liquid, because I see that as a problem, because there are people who have money to pay Eskom, but because government is very reluctant, they decide not to pay electricity, whereas other people are actually paying for electricity. I think if they could work on that, then Eskom would be very viable. It will be a very viable organization.
Okay. Thanks very much. Thanks very much, brothers. Now, business. You are amongst the biggest consumers of electricity, sometimes irresponsibly. What is your role in ensuring that there's electricity saving?
Well, what we have done is we have gone to our members and we've asked them to be to use electricity as sparingly as possible. We've said to them, switch off all the lights where you are not doing any activities. If you're not in an office, switch off the light. But unfortunately, what the problem is that many of the buildings, in the newer buildings, that is the case. And in the newer buildings, they've put in LED globes and that sort of thing. Yeah. But in the older buildings, this hasn't happened. When you walk into the office block or into the factory, you throw one switch and all the lights come on. So we've asked them where it is possible for them to put in extra light switches so they can switch off the lights in those.
But the buildings don't look beautiful at night when they are not on.
Well, we've also said to them they must switch off their electricity at night, but they can leave the security lights on, because if they are using the electricity at night, it's just adding to their accounts anyway. Okay. So, it makes business sense to switch off the lights. But obviously, for security reasons, there are some lights that need to be left on.
Okay. Mandla, you are in Lipalali.
Yebo mnumzane kunjani?
Siyaphila njani baba?
Hayi ngiyaphila. Ya ngibona khona lelithuba nami ngikufika lapho kumnumzane Khusile.
I'm battling to hear Mandla.
Yebo.
Yebo baba.
Ya ngithi ngiyabonga ukuthola lelithuba nami ngifuna ukuthi ubutela lapho kumnumzane Khusile.
Okay baba.
Ya ukuthi njengoba siyakhala nemzansi sikhala ngendaba yegezi. Kule issue yase Medupi power station. Bathi misele kuyilungisa kanjani?
Yiphi baba?
Ngeva lapho ngikhuluma ngendaba yi-10,000.
Okay.
Of which leyo akusini kolenkulu kakhulu cause strike saseMedupi.
So lokuhleli ngayo le ndaba basebenzi laba bakhala nge-alleviate ningakhulu eMedupi.
Okay, kunenye into esingayadi thina enza ukuthi abantu ba strike baba.
Ya lalela ngokuchazele ke baba. Basebenzi lana balwela i-travelling allowance because itholakala every month. Balwela i-living out allowance because itholakala every month.
Bayifuna kuba
16 hours ngebe itholakala mangabe kutravel kuye emakhaya kuphinde kubuya.
Okay.
Le 10,000 le ivela muva le. So uma ngabe ikhona sokuthi I will hope ukuthi sayithola sibasebenzi.
Okay.
So kokugcina umnumzane phasi wesicela sichazele ukuthi njengoba nyalo bakhipha abasebenzi kuma accommodations we-Eskom baletha amaphoyisa baletha ama vetu scholar baletha onke lama security companies lakhona bathi misela kuyisolve kanjani lenkinga ngoba kanjalo lenkinga angeke isolve.
Okay. Ngicela uyibambe khona lapho baba Mandla. I'm going to give you time to respond to these questions only after the break. This is question time. Please don't go away.
Your World makes it its business every evening to round up the leading local stories and international news to keep you informed all the time.
Make a date with Your World every evening for all the news headlines around the world to keep you abreast with knowledge.
Catch Your World for headlines across the world every Monday to Friday from 9 p.m, then Saturday and Sunday from 7 p.m.
We continue our discussion. My guest, Kulu Pasiwe, is from Eskom. Peggy Trotsky is the Chief Executive Officer at Saki. Now, quickly, just respond to the question, because now what Mandla is saying is that the 10,000 rand, it's actually a by the way. There are other issues.
Well, I can tell you, Paul, that actually 10,000 rand is the key to every other thing that they are demanding. In terms of the hierarchy of issues that they have raised with the contractors, they have said, and just to give you a context, after the 25th of March, they said to us, the unions were saying to us that you need to reinstate everyone before we can start negotiating on other issues.
Which you did.
Which we did. We reinstated everyone and without any conditions. After that, they said, well, until you give everyone 10,000 rand, we're not going to go back. So essentially 10,000 rand bonus is the key to everything else. So then, as I was saying, our managers yesterday met with the CEOs of the construction companies that are at Medupi, and one of the feedback they got from the construction companies is that actually there's absolutely no proof at all that any of their managers had received this 10,000, whatever bonuses, including if 10,000 rand is what people are talking about. So there's no truth in the 10,000 rand. Hopefully, at some point, this information will be communicated to NUMSA and others so that we can find finality on this matter.
Harry, you are in Tongat. Welcome.
Hello. So,
yes.
How are you, sir?
We're doing very well.
Thank you, sir. What I want to tell you, sir. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Since 94, in the 21 years' time, every government parastatal is in shambles. Everything, you name it, anything. SABC or South African Airways or any department, government department is in shambles, right?
Okay.
Now you got a gentleman there, right? He says Monothi, his experience, he was in Transnet, right?
Yes.
He made a turnaround. Can you tell me what he turned around? I can't say anything he turned around because I got people working with me. From Durban they come to work, and in Tonga, right? There's no train service. They just standing in the station, waiting, battling. They must run to taxis, bus, and this, that. The battle didn't come. Going home time, same problem. So what did that gentleman think that tomorrow if we turn around? I can't say anything. Okay, another thing, one more thing, right?
Okay, quickly.
The Sentaco, but 2-3 years ago, right?
Yes.
They said that they're going to launch an airline from Johannesburg to Eastern Cape, right?
Yes.
Now, they interviewed them on TV too. One white gentleman, one black gentleman, right? From Santiago, right? Or something like that. Leon Manners, she interviewed them. I saw that thing, right? And then, I'm waiting for the airliner. The airliner, from that time, I can't say when it will launch. Nothing I heard. It's 2-3 years gone now. Tell me where's the airliner?
Okay, I'm sure that question would have to be answered by the gentleman who had committed to launch the airline. But there seems to be some concern that you are just committing that there's going to be a turnaround, yet this gentleman is not convinced that it's going to happen.
South Africa needs a turnaround on Eskom. As Peggy is saying, business, for them to invest in the country, they need to have assurance that there'll be electricity in this country. Yeah. Eskom has to do something. South Africa has to do something. As a country, we currently are working on a 20-year blueprint on energy for the next 20 years. As a country, we're going to diversify in terms of energy production. We are moving away from coal. We are going into renewable energy and other sources of energy. This is a country plan, not an Eskom one. But
are you funding those projects?
The ones that we are currently involved in, we do have funding for them. The ones that government is working on, at some point government will make a determination as to how they're going to be done. Okay. But I can tell you now the IPPs are done by the private sector.
Yeah. Hold the thought there. Aubrey in Lipalale, welcome to Question Time.
And the humble our izvo zvamusi vathu vachikwenchiwa pona vadzora one rizini kurane ya izvo ndimini vasa vainchiwa pona vadzora one musi vachamushumo.
Okay, now the question is, what is the main reason you're removing people from the houses or places of residences?
Those houses are owned by Eskom and the contractors. They are our properties. We have a right to determine as to who stays there, who does not stay there. Some of the people are using our properties, those very same hostels, as a base to threaten others for them not to go to work.
Yes.
We as a company cannot allow that situation.
Okay.
And as I was saying, we are providing accommodation, we are providing food, and people are using the very same facilities. During the course of the day, they are causing havoc. Afternoon, they go back to our facilities. They go back to eat our food, but they don't want to go to work. So somebody has to do something, and we are doing that. If you
feed them, they must work.
100%.
For you.
100%, yeah.
Okay. Now, why are you letting off the residents of Soweto without paying electricity, owing you billions?
Well, indeed, Soweto, like many other areas in the country, are owing us a lot of money. In total, municipalities are owing us about 8 billion rand. Half of it is from Soweto alone. We are currently doing what we call split metering, installing split meters in Soweto. We have done it in Shawelo, we've done it in Meadowlands and other parts of Soweto. There is some resistance in other parts of Soweto, like in Protea North, for example. But we are gradually moving around the area to make sure that we convert people from...
So are you going to write off that debt?
We are not going to write off the debt.
How are you going to recoup it from the residents of Soweto?
Essentially, we're doing it in two parts. The first part of it is to install the prepaid meters, which is the split metering I was talking about. You install that thing, and a prepaid, essentially, by definition, it means that you have to pay in advance.
Yes.
So you have that, and then at the same time, you are pursuing people in terms of the money that they owe us.
What's going to happen in the event that they don't pay, which is likely?
Well, we are currently going through similar situations with other municipalities.
Okay.
In some municipalities, for example, those who are not able to pay us, we are going to switch them off.
Okay.
We have not decided yet as to whether we're going to do the same in Soweto. But firstly, we are installing these prepaid meters, and then we're going to pursue this one where we are saying to them, you owe us this amount of money, how are you going to pay going forward?
Can
Thank
I
you.
add something on that particular issue with the...
Unfortunately, we've run out of time.
Pity.
Becky. Yes. But that was question time for today. A big thank you to my guest and to you for watching the show. Our email address, if you want to give us your feedback, questiontime@sabc.co.za. Our Twitter handle @questiontime24. From me and the rest of the crew, have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.